everyone. Welcome back to another episode of The Composition of Imagination. I am your host and author, Stevie Jo, and welcome to the show where we talk all about my Angel of Death book series. We have been doing for the past couple weeks with my book guardians here, Superman and Tasha. We've been doing more of the Murmurs of Mer County series, where this time we're focusing on Aezra, everybody's favorite Sanguis. Love to hate Sanguis.
Wow.
Be sure that you catch up on the videos from the last couple weeks when we were talking about him, because that's all book 1 and 2. You kind of want to know where you are. So let's get into book 3, shall we? Things are starting to get really interesting in the world of Angel of Death. The first time we see Aezra is in chapter 4 at this big town hall meeting where James is attempting to persuade the county to donate their blood so the conquistadors can find a cure. Cordelia also mentions that they're looking for creature volunteers to be tested on. She insists they'll be treated like one of her children. Indeed. That's when we finally hear from Aezra for the first time. He openly asks in the town hall meeting, he just stands up and is like, which child are you going to treat everybody like? Because we all know that there's a difference between the way Peyton is treated and the way Skylar is treated. And he's the only one who vocalizes this, which is very surprising. And what a hell of a way to introduce, so to speak, him to the book. That causes Skylar to turn around and look back at him like, the fuck?
Yeah.
And Delia is actually left on stage speechless because no one expected him to say anything at all, let alone that.
Yeah.
So why did Aezra do that? Is it just another part of his scheme, or is this part of his new, like, weird little pseudo transformation where he's trying to do better?
I mean, he's honestly pointing out a real truth.
And it's what we're all thinking, I'm sure, as we read the book.
And that's why he said it. I mean, it was a good point. Whether he was trying to get brownie points with Sky, more than likely, yes. Okay. But really, he was just bringing up a valid point, which kitty you're talking about.
Yeah.
And a way to sit there and say, I know you're lying. Mm-hmm. Stop right now, because I know you're out to get the creature.
I know you're lying because, trust me, I'm a fucking liar too.
Yeah.
Game spots game.
Exactly. Pot, meat, kettle. Like, that's...
And that's why, and I think the reason why Cordelia is there locked up...
Really taken aback. Like, really.
It wasn't because it was Aezra that said it, it was Howie said it.
Oh, yeah, because she did not expect to be called out like that.
And she had no response, so that in turn made all the townspeople go, ooh.
Uh-huh.
And so that's why they backtracked the whole time.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's all you see of him in that, like, first opening chapter that he's in. In chapter 6, the next time you see him, Aezra is wanting to catch up with Sky at the end of the town hall, but he has to take Julia home. And it's kind of a thing to see him choose Julia over Skylar. Mm-hmm. That's kind of a big deal for him. So when they get to the McCoy farm, where he's dropping her off, there's a large black van waiting for her. Security guards get out, they help her into the van. Aezra protests because he knows exactly what this is. Mm-hmm. It's Julia being taken to the conquistadors for experimentation, and he does not, like we mentioned last week, he does not like it one bit. Aezra tries to convince Julia to stay, don't go to the lab, but she won't listen to him. So he tells her, all right, well, if this is what you want to do, just be safe and please come back to me, because he says, I can't wait to hug you standing up for once. Which is a really sweet thing to say.
Yeah, but that's because of the friendship that they have.
Yes.
The true friendship they have.
Yeah.
And when Julia is gone, when the van takes her and they leave the property, Aezra and Sunny have kind of a testosterone standoff of wills. And at the end of it, he threatens Sunny and just says, if anything happens to Julia, old man, And Sunny just walks away without letting him say anything more. So doesn't it kind of seem like Aezra actually has a heart somewhere in there? Like, he seems to really have a genuine connection with Julia. So that means something's in there, right?
Yeah. I mean, he has feelings and stuff. Even though he's been around for centuries and stuff, and he is a POS. There was a time when he did care about people and things.
And so do you think that has just been 3 years of hurt, maybe?
Could be.
It's been repressed.
And
he's having a hard time digging it
honestly,
out.
Julia's the only one that treats him on the same level.
That's true.
So
That is true.
he always gravitates back to her and tries to help her out, and that's why he has such a disdain for Sunny, because he sees how Sunny treats her, which, you know, not shocking in the slightest.
Don't treat your wives like shit. Don't treat your husbands like shit. Just don't. Don't treat people like shit.
Don't get married if you're going to be like that.
Seriously.
How's that?
Seriously. Do you think that Aezra is worried about what will happen to Julia, or is he just worried about maybe losing his only friend?
I think more, it's a little bit of both.
Okay.
He's worried about losing her as a friend because he knows.
Yeah.
He's not dumb. He knows the humans are going to sit there and bumble along and do the wrong thing.
Mm-hmm. Unfortunately.
So, of course, he's like, yeah, I want you to come back, but in a way he was sort of saying, you know, goodbye.
Yeah, like, I want you to come back, but realistically,
it ain't going to happen.
Okay. So, what do you think Aezra will do if anything happens to Julia? Is his open-ended threat just empty? Or does he care about her that much that he would fight for her?
I think he cares enough that he would do something because, again, she doesn't deserve to be tortured.
No,
because she was always helpful, and even with her losing the ability to use her legs, you know, she still tried to, you know, be everything and anything to everyone.
She is literally the most innocent character in this whole cast.
Did you ever say how she looked?
Oh, okay. How do Aezra's feelings for Julia differ from his feelings for Sky in the way that you've seen him interact with both women?
And when you put it that way, his feelings with Julia are legit.
Okay.
He's not looking for an angle. He's not, you know, trying to manipulate to a better gain for himself. It's he genuinely cares.
Yeah.
Where Sky, he's angling because it's a means to an end.
Okay. So you think, because my next question was, which version of Aezra is real? You think the one that Julia sees is really Aezra?
Yes.
I think both versions are him.
I was hoping somebody would say that because I'm like...
Because it is... Skylar is an angle. Like, he wants her power.
Yeah.
So, he's going to do a whatever conniving, manipulative bullshit shit.
Yeah.
To get it. Julia has nothing really to give him.
Except her friendship.
Yeah, except for friendship.
And he seems to value that.
Yeah. So, yeah, he might be really genuine with her.
Yeah.
Which is part of the real him.
Yeah.
But the other part is, it's the yin and yang of him.
Yeah. He's two sides of the same coin.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that does make sense.
All right, I can appreciate that.
Blessed Implosion, 5th in the Angel of Death series, now available at StevieJoAuthor.com. Join me in July at the Imaginarium, where I'll be a first-time panelist. We'll also have a booth where we're selling the first 5 books in the Angel of Death series, the guidebook to the Heaven Realm, and cover art prints. Head over to entertheimaginarium.com for more information and to get your tickets today.
So now we'll move on to chapter 8 in Veiled Commandments. the creature activist group, just a little bit of background, the creature activist group, the Melatromi, are with Skylar and Elias in Creature Comforts. They're having a campaign meeting because Elias is running against James for mayor. Again, it's a whole thing. We talked about it in Eli's video, so you can go back and check that out at your leisure. But anyway, while they're all discussing the campaign, Aezra comes a knocking. In another twist on his personality, Aezra has come to Eli for help because he is sick. Aezra is sick. This starts a very interesting conversation. I love having conversations like this between Elias and Aezra because it's revealing so much, but you have to know what you're looking for when you read the conversations to know what it's revealing. So Aezra tries to get Elias to let him just run into the bar, get a drink real quick, because he can't get the same blood from the Devil's Fountain upper floor bar that he can from the Creature Comforts bar. So that's why he wants in there. He's like, I just need some of that. It's the only blood that doesn't make me sick. Why do you think that is? It goes back to when I asked a couple weeks ago, what do you think that blood is that makes it so good for him? Now, knowing that it's the only source that doesn't make him sick, what do you think? Do you have any theories on what that comes from?
It could be a lifeblood of some sort.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because didn't you say before we talked about before that the lifeblood, after they drink the lifeblood, all the other blood makes them sick.
I did.
So I think it would be easier for him to find out who this lifeblood is, whose blood that is.
Do we have any theories on who it might be?
Well, if it's someone's lifeblood, then you would obviously initially say Sky, but it may not be Sky.
And you know that it's a good gut reaction because Aezra's led us to believe that. However, this is blood Elias is supplying.
Yeah.
So you know it wouldn't be Sky.
So yeah, it's not Sky's.
So that changes things.
And we know...
I just saw the light bulb hit for a second.
It hit.
Isn't that great to see?
It could be a character that hasn't been introduced yet.
Huh. So would Aezra...
Because in a weird, really nasty way, I mean, it could be Elias's blood. You wouldn't think...
I see where you're going with it.
I mean, think about it. You would need somebody with powerful magic to make the blood that sweet.
Yes.
Not necessarily.
Or at the very least, powerful magic to keep him from being sick.
Yeah.
At the very least.
Yeah. So I don't think it's Elias's blood.
I don't think it is either. But if you're going by powerful magic, because that's part of the lifeblood is the power that comes with it.
Right. But that's the thing, though. If it's not, but we don't know who it's from, though. So that's what I'm saying. I don't think it's Elias, and I know it's not Sky.
It's not Lilith.
Yeah. So I mean.
So it's a character that has not been introduced.
Could be, or it could just be another. It just could be an animal, a certain animal that has not been introduced.
Boy, wouldn't that be interesting?
Ew! It turns out it's Wesley's blood.
Oh, ew.
But yeah, I mean, it does open up a lot of possibilities.
It does. So keep that in mind as we go through these books, because Aezra, at this point, even though that's the only blood that doesn't make him sick, he still hasn't quite pieced it together like you guys have. That it's not Sky, and that Sky is not his lifeblood, because he hasn't had anything from her yet. So, well, he had an accidental drop, is what he had from Sky. So he thinks that that's why he's sick, because he says that not explicitly, but he implies it to Elias. So while he's asking for a chance to come inside and just grab a drink and whatever, Elias will not give in, because he's like, no, part of the rules are now with the Meltromi, the club is closed on these days. You cannot come in.
Right.
So he's like, if you want to have more of this kind of blood, I suggest that you drink from the Devil's Fountain, back upstairs, and go to the Devil's Playground, which is Elias's basement club of his house. He created it because of the Melatromi taking over creature comforts.
Yeah.
He still wanted the creatures to have an outlet. So Aezra responds as if they were both aware of this the whole time. He responds by saying, "You know damn well that I can't drink from the fountain because you know that the price might be too high." And Elias is like, "No, I don't know that. I don't know what your price is. What do you think it is?" And Aezra's like, "You probably want my gem," which I do want to clarify here because Elias doesn't, and I think because he wants Aezra to keep thinking this. When
he plays on it.
Yeah, when it comes time for someone who drinks from the fountain to pay the price, so to speak, they're not paying Elias. They're paying fate. They're paying this, omnipotent force.
Yeah.
Elias gets nothing out of it. Absolutely nothing. But Aezra doesn't know that, and Elias isn't about to tell him otherwise. So Aezra talks about how, well, the price might be my gem, like it might be taken from me, which he says, "I cannot afford to give it up to anyone." So a couple questions here, because that's a really interesting statement. First of all, if Aezra can't afford to give his gem to anyone, why the hell did he almost give it to Sky last year?
Because they were gonna be together. So really, it's not going anywhere.
Okay, so he would have still had it.
Yeah, he would have had it. It just would have not necessarily been around his neck. Or on his belt or whatever.
Like on his person.
Yeah.
Do you think that giving up his gem really is the price he would have to pay if he drank from the fountain?
Probably.
Okay.
I think it
because I still hold the reason I say that is because I have a feeling that gem holds his soul.
Okay.
And if that were to be destroyed or altered, manipulated, mutilated, that he loses a number of years, and two, loses part of himself.
Okay.
If not, gets destroyed altogether if the gem is destroyed.
What more do you think it could be?
I think it had something to do with Julia.
Okay. Ooh, boy, that would hurt.
Yeah.
Ooh.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, that would hurt.
Yeah.
Because we already know how he feels about her.
Yeah.
So, okay.
I don't think it would have anything to do with Sky.
I mean, it has been said that the fountain will make you pay, and it's not always cheap.
Yeah.
And you sometimes lose what you care about the most. And we've seen how much he cares about her. So that's interesting. That is to be determined what happens there. So as Elias and Aezra get to talking, they bring up some things from the past. Namely, Aezra's former lover, Lilith.
No.
Aezra has not seen her in ages, like literally thousands of years. And Elias is now offering in this moment to reunite them. Aezra is very skeptical, but Elias is like, I know that she misses you very much and, all that stuff. And he even takes a little jab at Aezra, saying that Aezra left her. But Aezra combats that by saying, no, I didn't leave. I was forced to go. And if I recall correctly, you took her with you when you left just to spite me. So what do you think happened to separate Lilith and Aezra? Whether he actually left or not, or was forced out or whatever.
You know what?
What do you think that
they
was?
were all agents working in heaven at one point, and Aezra got in with the wrong crowd and got kicked out with the rest of them, and Lilith got drugged with Elias. Because in a way, if you think about it, it sort of sounds like something like that. I was forced to leave.
Yeah.
and you took her with you. Sort of like, if you come with me, you'll be fine.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're going to be going the same place he is.
Okay.
Which is possible, or it may be falling out. Maybe, it was in the middle of the Inquisition or something, and they...
We do know they're very old. So.
Yeah. So, it could be any number of things, but that one sounds most likely is that they were doing some sort of work at one point for angels in heaven, and then when all the dark angels got kicked out, well, sorry about your luck, but you're going to be damned to the wonderful realm of the earth.
Ooh. Now, why do Eli and Aezra, why do you think they have differing views of how this separation or whatever it was happened? Because, Aezra's like, I was forced out, and Eli's like, you fucking left. Why is that view so... Because there is a big difference.
There is a big difference.
Why is that view so different between them?
Because probably from Elias's view, Aezra left.
Like
walked away.
Like he could have done more.
Yeah.
To stay, but he chose not to.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do you think Aezra's mistrust in Elias stems from whatever this was that happened?
Mm-hmm.
Part of it.
And do you think that his separation from Lilith and all that, do you think that that's why he constantly tells Skylar that Elias isn't who he says he is? That because he's viewing this as Elias stole my lover, I was forced out.
Who's to say Aezra wasn't manipulated by somebody more powerful than he was?
Huh. Apple tree.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why he's doing that to Sky. That's the only way he knows.
But the thing is that he doesn't realize that he was manipulated.
Okay.
He's
okay.
saying...
Well, that begs an interesting, a random, not typed up question. Do you think that Aezra then, if that's the case, is Aezra actually manipulating Sky, or is someone manipulating Sky through Aezra?
Oh, somebody can manipulate through. And it's probably the same culprit that's doing the whole town.
Okay.
And because Sky's smart enough, she can figure stuff out.
Yeah.
So you kind of got to keep her subdued, even though she stays away from town and
tries to keep to herself.
Yeah. She ain't stupid. And she's starting to realize things, especially by the time book 3 rolls around, she's starting to kind of get her eyes open that there's some shenanigans going on. And so it could have been somebody using Aezra. Even though Aezra ain't that dumb. But
if he was being manipulated in the past, who's to say? Because we still see the effects of Sky.
We know he has a weakness to mythics.
Yeah.
So someone may know that and use it to their advantage.
Okay.
I don't think it's the same I don't think it's the same person that's sitting there controlling the town. They may be using him as a conduit.
Okay.
But I don't think it's a full-on, I'm going to manipulate him so he can manipulate.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, the chapter ends with Elias offering to reunite Aezra and Lilith once again, and he's doing this out of the kindness of his heart. Aezra, of course, remains skeptical because he says Eli's family has always been privileged compared to Aezra. But Eli insists that he really, truly does not want anything out of it. Aezra even learns that Eli can't stop Sky from wanting to see Aezra if she wants to. So really, this whole situation seems like a win for Aezra. Is there a bad side to this deal at all for him?
No.
Yeah.
What's the bad side?
Bad side is Elias is involved.
Okay.
If he... Okay. Basically, he's helping Aezra out by reuniting with Lilith.
Mm-hmm.
But if he screws Lilith over,
Yes.
then not only is he going to have the wrath of Lilith, but then Elias is going to get involved, and he's going to be the one collecting the toll.
Okay. But you think that this is like just, it is what Elias says it is. It's a good deal for you. Take it because I'm feeling rarely generous.
Yeah. I mean, they know each other, so they know what comes with what package.
Well, if that's the case, then there's some things that happen later in the book that would negate that.
Well, much like how you guys are kind of hinting at here, Elias doesn't really think that Aezra's nice streak that he's been on will stick.
Mm-hmm.
He thinks that Aezra is just going to revert back to his old ways before too long. Douchebaggery cannot be buried forever. So even Eli sees how Aezra is just a little different from the first book, but he still doesn't trust him.
Yeah.
So what do you think will happen to make Aezra fall off the wagon, or however you want to word it, and revert back to his old ways?
3 months.
You just give it 3 months and he's...
Because you can only hide yourself for 3 months. After that, the real you start showing through.
Good point.
That is a good point.
So 3 months.
Okay.
Well, it's been over a year, though.
Well, no, from how he's been changing recently. And, that does fall in line really well with things that happen, like, after book 5 and stuff. So, that may be the case.
I mean, he is what he is.
Yeah.
And once you're pretty much set that way, anything short of dynamite, you ain't gonna change.
Yeah.
And in his case, in his mind, he can't do wrong.
Yeah.
Everything he does, he's always the winner. I mean, literally, he wakes up in the morning, looks himself in the mirror, and says, "I'm a winner."
Go me.
Yeah. And stuff. Thank God he doesn't do the Johnny Bravo,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's going to do it for today's video. What a good discussion for Veiled Commandments, right? I mean, it's really starting to get into some weird Aezra shit. I'll just say that. So, be sure you subscribe because we'll be back Wednesday with more weird Aezra shit in Murmurs of Mer County for Veiled Commandments. So, subscribe so you don't miss anything. Tune back in. We love you, and we'll see you in a couple days.
Catch up on the Angel of Death series today. The first 4 entries are now available directly at StevieJoAuthor.com.